Generation X. In general terms, those born between 1965 and 1980. Latchkey kids. Independent. Existentialism. Modern philosophy focusing on personal experience, human ability, and responsibility in an otherwise meaningless universe. We're the cause. This is the effect. We're the Gen Existentialists. Welcome into the Gen Existentialists.
Hey, have you ever heard a song by Jason Aldean called You Make It Easy?
I've heard of Jason Aldean, but I have never heard that song. Why?
Holy crap balls. A couple of weeks ago.
There's a story, I assume.
There's a story attached to this. A couple of weeks ago. Hi, everybody. This is Gen Existentialist podcast. I just had an existential crisis at the Mexican restaurant.
Are we going to name the restaurant or just let it
pass?
No,
it's a local Mexican restaurant. Nobody goes there, so you probably have never been there. But we went there at like 4:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday, right? And there was nobody else in the restaurant except for the server. So we got seated right away and served relatively fast. And the food was passable. It wasn't anything to, write home about. Yeah. But we were sitting there, and this Jason Aldean song was playing over the speakers of this cavernous restaurant, because it's empty, and it makes it even louder. And the waitress was sitting on the other side of the restaurant on her phone, having a loud, possibly angry, animated conversation in Spanish with someone. Okay, which just made it even more surreal. But the song, it's called "You Make It Easy." I ask you to go out and listen to it. Actually, look at me. I'm doing a favor for Mr. Aldean. But holy crap balls. The song went on, and then it went on, and about the 8-minute mark.
Was it an epic?
You think it was like an epic power ballad, like country power ballad. But it was playing when we came in, so it had already been playing. Okay. At the 8-minute mark, we started looking at each other and smiling, like this has to be some kind of, like we're on candid camera.
Extended dance mix,
yeah, are we confused? Like, what's going on? So we're desperately trying to find out who's singing this and how long the song is. Find out the song is like 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's like, all right, is this like the extended country Vix? Well, 22 minutes of the same song later, I'm like enraged. Like the song it's like Guantanamo Bay torture music at this point. And I'm, just seriously thinking about getting up and leaving. Yeah. Because it's too much. Well, we stayed there for 44 minutes till we finished our food and paid our check, and it was still going when we left in absolute despair. So
okay, so here's what I think probably happened. There was a jukebox that you just didn't see, and the waitress was yelling at her boyfriend or husband who had come in and dumped like $10 in just to play that Jason Aldean song for like 30 times.
It could have been, but boy howdy, let me tell you, that's a lot of Jason Aldean. That's a lot of that song.
You remember when we did that at the La Rosa's in Latonia?
It could be karmic payback. Yeah,
it wasn't Jason Aldean then. Jason Aldean probably wasn't born then. But we did play, what was the Meatloaf song? Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Yeah, put like $2 in.
That song's already like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, and just play it so that we heard it over and over again while we ate, and it was still playing when we left.
That's true. Yeah, maybe it's karma.
You got caught up in a prank that you knew nothing about.
Boomerang prank, prankerang.
Decades later,
I'm telling you,
it came back around.
Well, I left a scathing review on Google Reviews for this poor restaurant.
Oh, the poor restaurant.
I know. I was like, I'll never be back. Sorry, I'll never listen to Jason Aldean again, and I'll never go back.
Would you ever have listened to Jason Aldean anyway?
No, that's the thing. I never knew who Jason Aldean was until that fateful day.
Yeah. So and now you hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to hijack that, but it had to be said.
I love that kind of story. I feel almost like it's anticlimactic to spin Mega Wheel, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Maybe it'll come up with what's your favorite Jason Aldean song.
Oh, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
So yeah, how are you doing today, Mr. K?
I'm doing okay. I haven't had anything like that happen to me, so I must be doing well.
Well, it's early days yet.
Yeah. Okay, our first question. Have you ever been party to a jukebox prank?
Oh, I have.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The question is actually digital friendship, benefits and possible drawbacks.
Benefits, I'll tell you, I love some of my digital friends out there. I feel like I have brothers and sisters that I've never met, and I probably never will, unfortunately. That's the drawback.
Yeah. So
I'll meet some of the coolest people online who they know all my references. They're into even more obscure, bizarre cinema than me. We talk about old video games that nobody else around here even remembers and stuff. And then I come to realize that they are so far away that chances of me ever meeting up. And I had the chance to meet one of them and their husband when I was on my little trip across America. I made a special detour to go through their town because I was hoping I could catch up with dinner, catch them for dinner. Yeah. And it didn't work out. Yeah. So it was like, well, there's the one opportunity I had to meet these people in the flesh, and they were probably like, I don't want to hang out with this idiot. Yeah. I just know him online. But, it's a benefit and a drawback. I feel richer for knowing these people, even digitally. But it's sad that because I wish I could just get together with them on a regular weeknight and sit around and have a beer and shoot the crap. So how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, any kind of friendship, any kind of camaraderie is always good. And just making those contacts is beneficial, especially if they're people from really far away that can throw different ideas at you, just different viewpoints. Even if they just share pictures of their surroundings, the surrounding area, it's interesting to see the different places people live. Like I've got some Facebook friends that live in different countries that we've met on music boards or bass boards and things like that. And it's always interesting, like seeing the clubs these people play in and what the stages look like and what other bands are doing, how they sound and things like that. And the drawback is, as you noted, the chances of ever actually meeting them are pretty slim. I mean, I've got friends that live around here close to us that I've never met in person. and it's just like, would I like to? Yeah, but everybody's so busy. I think there are some... Busy.
I got friends, like friends, like physical friends in the area that I haven't seen them in years. So if I can't get my friends to get their butts off the couch... chances of seeing so-and-so from Zimbabwe is probably pretty slim, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that happens. It's part of life.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. I'm gonna give Mega Wheel another spin here.
Put your shoulder into it.
I have to get this thing moving with all these questions on it. Okay. What old, worn-out thing can you simply not part with?
Well, this would have been more appropriate if it came about 6 months ago, because I would have said my car. Scott loved to rib me about my old car.
Yeah, it didn't even pop into my head because Maybelline's gone.
Already forgot about Maybelline.
Yeah, gone or forgotten.
But boy,
But she'll always be in your heart, right?
That's true. Yeah. I'll tell you, this sounds really ridiculous, but there is an old, it's gossamer thin now. It's like holding onto a piece of a ghost, metaphorically, and it's one of my dad's old handkerchiefs.
Okay.
And he carried it with him all the time when he went. He worked on the railroad. Yeah. Carried it in his back pocket. He'd always taught me, you keep a handkerchief for yourself, and you keep one in your back pocket in case you run into somebody who's crying or who needs it, so you can give it to them. This is one of his weird lessons, one of his weird, outdated lessons that I learned from him or whatever. But he had this handkerchief that has been washed so many times and has been worn in a back pocket so many times that you can just see everything through it. It's like looking through a ghost.
Yeah.
And I will keep it, and I'll put it in my pocket, and I'll just hold on to it every once in a while because it reminds me of him. So that's something I can't part with. Yeah. It is threadbare. It is miserable looking, but it's not disgusting or it's not stained. It's just this clean, perfectly white square of fabric.
Yeah.
and it's the softest thing you'll ever touch. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. How about you?
Old worn out thing I can't part with. Probably a couple of my hats.
Which ones?
The first hat I ever got is a Bellevue Tigers hat that I got when I was in kindergarten. And I've still got it. It's upstairs, and it was one of those, like what they call today trucker hats, but it was pretty much how hats were made back in the day.
Yeah.
So the front of it was foam,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and it's all kind of beaten down and really thin, and it's kind of lost its structure and stuff. But I've still got it, and I can't get rid of it because it was the first hat
Well, it's
I ever
a piece
had.
of history.
Yeah, and then the first Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat that I got, which is just worn to hell from so many summers cutting grass in it, and it's awful. And I've gotten hats before and literally worn them out to the point where, okay, this is awful. It's been used outside too much. It stinks. I'm getting rid of it. That one never did. And I don't even watch NFL football anymore. I haven't for years, but I can't get rid of it because it was partially because of that, because of the nostalgia, but also because the front of the hat, it was the old Tampa orange from the 80s, because I got it in the 80s. And on it, it says Tampa Bay in red letters, and in the background is a big Bucks. But from a distance, it looks like it says Bugs. And the amount of people that I've had come up to me like, what's Bugs? And then when you get closer, because that old Tampa red on the orange, you had to get close to see, Tampa. Oh, okay, it says
It's like
Bugs.
a color blindness test.
Yeah, it really is. The hat really was.
All
So
right.
it's fun from that perspective. I don't know how many people would come up to me and go, what are the Bugs? Oh, never mind.
There you go.
It was a conversation starter.
And see, everybody thought that question we were going to say, our wives, but enter Statler and Waldorf laughing at this point.
Yeah, you know the one thing you're not going to get from us is the trope. We are very against the old standbys.
So, sometimes the dad jokes, they come back.
No, we're breaking new ground here. And we're going to spin Mega Wheel of Magnificence and figure out what our next topic is. Again, I'm going to say it's going to be something D&D related.
Oh, let's hope.
It's not.
Hooray.
It is about a quest, though. In our quest for progress and development, what are we losing along the way?
Our sense of humor. Remember when people used to laugh with and at each other? Remember those days, kids? Remember Blazing Saddles? That's the one everybody... Speaking of tropes, that's the one everybody talks about. Oh, remember when you could do stuff like that? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's a distant memory now, but I'm hoping it comes back eventually like a boomerang. So
Yeah, you've got to be able to laugh at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think for progress and development, we're losing a little bit of our heart and compassion, because you need to have the reason for it. We want to progress, we want to develop, we want to get better. The continual improvement is a good thing and a good idea, regardless of what you're talking about, whether it's business, social things, political things. If you're not moving forward, why are you even doing it? But in the process, you can't forget the reasons why. And ultimately, we're all human. We have to matter first. Otherwise, the progress doesn't matter. So a little bit of the empathy and the compassion, if that gets lost along the way, and I feel like it is, that's where we're going astray a little bit.
all right.
That's my take. So we will give Mega Wheel another spin. Giving her a workout today.
That's good. She could use it.
Short one.
So could I, but, hey.
Short but
This is her
good.
time.
And our next topic is, holy crap, it's a long one.
All right.
Okay. If you were invited to join one current musical group, which group would it be and why? And then it says, how about groups that no longer exist? So
All right.
we'll you don't need two separate ones. Just if you were going to join a band, which one would it be?
Wow. It would have to be one that I could actually compete with, compete at their level.
Compete with?
Well, I could stand toe-to-toe with them musically and all that. I don't want to be the anchor that drags the band down. I don't want to be the Yoko of this organization. I would have to say I would love to join a hair metal band. I've said it before. I've said it again.
Okay.
I love the disposable pop aspect of it. I love the excess, be it phony or realistic. I love the sort of crass attitude and the ridiculous outfits and the devil may care goofiness of hair metal.
You're describing Steel Panther perfectly.
I wouldn't mind being a part of Steel Panther. Why not? They're so ridiculous, and they seem like they have fun. It's like I could not be a part of a band that didn't have a sense of humor and didn't have fun.
Oh, I agree.
No politically charged bands, no angry rap groups, no, I'm fighting for injustice. I don't care. I'm here to have fun, and I think everybody else here is here to have fun. So let's just have fun.
That's the interesting thing. A lot of the bands that seem, and you would think, are just utterly serious and down and dour based on their material and how they are on stage are actually, when you see them in interviews or you see them in like backstage videos or documentaries of the making of the album, they're the funniest cut-ups, great senses of humor. They realize that there's the music, there's the image of the music, and then there's them. And they're separate things. So I don't know.
What band do you want to be a part of? It goes without saying.
I don't know. It would have to be one of the ones on the walls in here, but I mean, Rush doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but it's a band of the past too.
Yeah, I guess it could be. But the whole concept, if you were invited to join one current musical group, like nobody's going to invite me to join any of these bands.
Well, nobody's going to invite me either because I don't have one lick of musical talent. So, and I'm not going to be that Sugar Coops guy that stands around and screams and yells and plays a trumpet badly. So,
but that would be fun.
Or the Davy Jones who smacks a tambourine.
But then you're the heartthrob.
Oh,
you're the heartthrob of the band. I'm going to go with Mastodon.
All right.
Because that would leave Troy Sanders to just do the vocal thing, and I could play bass.
Okay.
Yeah, that would work out well, and it would be an incredible amount of fun.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's my take anyway. That's my take, and I'm sticking to it. And we will give Mega Wheel of Magnificent another spin. A lot of music stuff this episode.
Yeah.
Jason Aldean thing kind of got us started off on
Thank you, Mr. Aldean.
And speaking of, a band you love, but your spouse hates.
I think hate's a strong word.
Dislikes.
My wife is a remarkably tolerant woman when it comes to my music.
Yeah.
Because I like some stuff that she definitely doesn't like. I would say it'd have to be a mix between Tomita.
Okay.
Isaiah Tomita, who is a Japanese
synth
artist from way back when. He is now deceased. R.I.P. Mr. Tomita. And Creator would probably be another one. I love me some thrash metal. I mean, I do. And I think I listen to Creator probably more than any other thrash artist.
What about Rigor Mortis?
I don't listen to them as often.
Okay.
There was a time I was doing a program called the Slightly Obscure Metal Show where I got to throw a few of those in.
I just remember when you got that first Rigor Mortis album
I got
on
it because
vinyl.
it came with a sticker.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was what suckered me in as this great logo and this sticker. But it was, I don't know, it was an interesting... They're an interesting thrash band. They kind of have that shtick where they do horror movie related stuff.
Yeah. Wasn't there one about a dinosaur?
No, that's a completely different band. We get that conflated a lot.
Who was the dinosaur one?
The song is called Caveman.
Yes, who was that?
And I cannot tell you the name, but supposedly they are a revered thrash metal band, if you can believe that. So
Yeah,
But
I believe anything.
It was an EP that I got. It had Caveman on one side and Quietus Charnel House on the other side. Quietus Charnel House on the other side. Yeah, I will have to look that up. I will look that up while you tell me.
Okay. Band I love, but my spouse really dislikes. Tracy and I share a lot of musical territory. And I turned her on to Iron Maiden, and she is a full-on Iron Maiden fan at this point.
Wow.
There are a lot of bands that I'll play in the car that she's absolutely fine with. The one where she draws the line, the one that the look on her face, I can picture it right now immediately if if I have them going and we get in the car and I just start it up without thinking about it, it is Rush. She has absolutely no use for
no patience.
No use for Geddy, Alex, and Neil, which breaks my heart because I really do love Rush.
That song about the freaking trees, Jesus, shut up.
The trees is a great song.
Okay, the band we were conflating Rigor Mortis with was Postmortem.
Postmortem,
the name of the band.
Rigor Mortis, Postmortem. It makes sense. Yeah,
it's very similar.
Yeah. So, folks, if you're out there, as soon as this episode ends, go to YouTube and look up Postmortem and the song Caveman, and you'll see why we love it so much.
It's really bad.
No, it's fantastic. It is just primo stuff. Top drawer thrash metal for you. As we give Mega Wheel and Magnificent another spin to work us out here on the Gen Existentialists this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We always appreciate having you here with us to share in some Gen Existentialism.
Yes.
And our final topic is...
final topic already.
This is crazy. Grab a dictionary or use an online one.
Grab a dick. That's my first what? Well, it just so happens I have one right here between my legs. Never mind.
Pick a random word. Tell me what it means to you or how relevant it is to your life.
Wow.
That's just the stupidest.
Well, that's a very motivational speaker type thing. So
yeah,
we're going to have to do this on the phone.
I'm not even doing it. I'm already spinning it.
Oh, you're already spinning it?
Yeah, it's just that's a bullshit question.
Oh man, look at that.
Give me a random word and tell me what it means to you. I got the. It's an article that starts lots of sentences. We couldn't really have written language without at least the English language, and that's why it's important. That was awful. Oh my God. These are long questions.
Give it up, Meg.
Okay, this one we have to do. You stumble upon a magic whistle that can summon a circus troupe for one show only. No, let me finish. Let me finish. For one show only. How would you plan the ultimate neighborhood performance? So you're walking down the street and you stumble and you look down. What caused me to trip? It's a magic flute. So of course, it being in the street, you pick it up and you blow and you play a tune. And a circus troupe just appears.
Oh God!
Just appears in the middle of the town, and you get to plan the ultimate neighborhood performance.
I gotta tell you, I am a huge non-fan of circuses.
I hate circuses.
I got dragged to a circus at a very young age, a Shriner circus, like the Shrine Circus.
Yeah.
And it was a thing. Smelly, loud, annoying, hot thing. So, I think the best way to do any sort of ridiculous thing like that is just to have a pop-up event.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're there, you saw it. And if you didn't, you're just going to have to watch the TikToks and all the other things people post online. Like you're there or you're square.
Yeah.
I think those are the best type of things. I mean, look at New York City. That's what 90% of the performances that happen there. It's just shit pops up.
You see it.
You're there in the moment. You catch it or you catch the Instagram reel, playback. But that's what I would do. I hate to inflict a circus on any unsuspecting crowd, but
now see, I'm just the opposite.
The way it is.
I'm going to send them right to the center of town, the major intersection artery of the area, and tell them, perform right there. Just do whatever you're going to do right there. Pitch the tent or don't, and just have at it. And then you're free. You can go. The genie in the lamp says you can go after the one performance.
Can we have another spin? That feels lousy.
Yeah, it really was. That was terrible. Yeah, we don't want to go out on that, so we'll give Meg another spin. And she's spinning, and she's spinning. If this one's no good either, we're just going to end the show. We're not even going to have the outro music. We're just going to like fade like a
this is it.
crossfade on an album. Okay, all right. Does homeschooling provide a better education than traditional schooling?
I think it can. And I think that's because students are allowed to learn at their own pace at homeschooling. Normally students are able to function better because they have more control over their environment too.
Yeah.
You're not in there dealing with disruptive elements and kids freaking out and yelling and
True.
Acting a fool and all that. You don't have teachers that are unknown and may not have your children's best interest at heart, see them as one of the other 40 kids they have to deal with that day.
Yeah.
I think if you have the time and the wherewithal and sometimes the money, that you'd be a fool not to homeschool your kids, especially nowadays. Look at education rates across the states. As the, compares to other countries and stuff. We're at the bottom of the barrel as a country, and most states are doing dreadfully as far as reading and math and science. If you have the ability, or you have the ability to hook up with someone else in your neighborhood and have your children homeschooled in a small situation like that, all the better. Take advantage of it before they outlaw it, before it becomes mandatory not to.
I think that is the biggest thing that gets lost in actual schooling, like public schooling or private schools, is the number of kids per teacher. And teachers are not paid well enough. And you never know what you're getting. I mean, we know a lot of teachers, like high school teachers. Corey, who's been a guest on this show, is a high school English teacher. And so we know there are good ones out there. But there are
at
also
least ones that are willing to be on the show.
well, yeah. But I mean,
just joking.
It's just
busting your chops, Corey.
So much depends on the teacher. So much depends on the student and that interpersonal relationship and that working relationship, and it can get muddied with the number of students. I think it's easy to get lost in a class, and once you're a learner and you start to feel lost, getting your footing back can be incredibly difficult. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of lose their way. So from that perspective, homeschooling could be better, but those same qualifications apply. You may be a parent homeschooling your kid and you know a lot about scientific studies, but you never went that far in English. So the explication of a poem may be foreign to you. So you're going to miss some things. And I don't know, because I wasn't homeschooled, I don't know how they balance that. I don't know the perspective and how they try to get that stuff evened out. Because expecting one parent to be...
Well, there are a lot of online classes that students can take that are homeschooled to kind of fill in the blanks of...
And that would be
my dad's not good at math, so I take an online math
But do they have
class.
resources to help if, like, you need, like, tutoring for it? I would assume they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I don't know, because the typical argument you hear is, well, you're going to miss out on the social aspect and socialization stuff. Yeah. And I don't know that that's...
There's plenty of ways to socialize outside of school, you know. I mean, look at this. We have a friend who is homeschooling their daughter right now, and he just took her to her first daddy-daughter dance. And this is the age group that we're working with here. So, I mean, and she had friends there. There's a picture of him sitting at a table all by himself saying, always a wallflower, because she went off to play with her friends at the dance. I mean, you get socialization. Yeah. Anywhere. Children are natural socializers for the most part.
Yeah. So I'll put it this way. I don't think that there is a better or worse. I think it depends on the kid and where they feel most comfortable and where they can excel the most. And I think that's the one thing that we miss in so much of education is, you can have your syllabus, you can have your learning plan, you can have the books that you want everybody to read. But that's all about the educational process, it needs to be more student focused.
Well, that's the
which
average.
is hard.
You're teaching to the average. You're not teaching to the exceptional or the dullard.
And it's hard to do.
The average.
It's hard to do because everybody's different. And that's
Sure.
that's how like when we were in school, you ended up with the A level, B level, C level classes.
That's offensive.
It kind of, it was then and it kind of is now. I honestly thought that because, maybe if a kid in the C level class is put in an upper level class, maybe it pulls them along.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't know. Again, you're right. If you go the other way, you're teaching to the average, and some kids are going to be bored out of their minds in that situation. So
I'm acting up.
Know.
I'm crazy.
As long as everybody has open classrooms, we'll be just fine.
Right.
Because that was one of the best things about high school is the fact that if I was bored in the class I was in, I could just kind of lean, because I always sat in the back, I could just kind of lean back and listen to what was going on next door. And with that, we will end. This has been the Gen Existentialists. Give us your thoughts. Were you homeschooled? I would love to hear from adults that were homeschooled.
Sure.
And their take on it now, being out in the world. Do they think it was a benefit or a negative thing? Because that's really the interesting thing to me. So, until next time, my name is Scott.
And I'm Bunny.
And have a good one.